So here I am working in full screen mode, and I want to adjust my frame range. So I can press Q and I can go under settings, and there's options here where I can set my first frame and I can set my last frame. My last frame is set to 250, and you're probably wondering at this point, well, why is that even relevant? Well, I don't have anything selected right now, so that means my Q menu is going to offer me an option to add a camera. So I'm going to add a camera that will now be focused on this area, and we'll just jump out of full screen view and just grab the empty of this camera and move it back and scale it up. So now we're spinning around, and I see that we're spinning around a little too much. You know, actually lately it's become a pattern with me that whenever I get up and go for my computer, I actually leave a turntable up. So sometimes I'll look at a turntable when I'm walking away and I'm like, you know, that frame range is too high. So you could just press Q and go under settings and adjust your frame range. And we could set this to something like, 600. And now it's actually spinning a lot slower. But what if I wanted it to spin really slow? Like I wanted to give it like 1,000 frames or a couple of thousand frames or maybe 6,000 frames. Well, that's where frame range comes in. Frame range was a second attempt at actually dealing with the frame range, where basically by clicking it, it will set your frame range to be 6,000 frames. But if we press F9, we could actually choose what we get those frames to be. So I could set this to something like 5,000. So now it's actually 5,000 frames or 15,000 frames. I mean, really, I'm not rendering this thing. It's just how many frames do I want this turntable to take up. So sometimes I like it to just roll over the surfaces very slowly. And for that reason, in the settings options, you have options to actually adjust your frame range on the fly. So it's not something that's required that you use, but if it's something that you require using because you happen to, say, be in full screen mode and you don't have access to the timeline, then it is sometimes nice to just go in here and just change the number to whatever you want it to be, or just set the range to a preset number and then use F9 to set it to whatever you actually want it to be inside of a little pop-up window. So it's actually here just out of convenience. It adds no additional functionality outside of just making it a little bit more accessible to just jump to certain frame ranges or just adjust your frame ranges on the fly for your playback when it comes to your Blender viewport.